Welcome to the Wardenberg Family Farm.
Today we're going to show you our pollinator fields. Welcome to our pollinator fields. We have 6 acres of fields with wildflowers and switchgrass that surrounds our row crop area. So it provides protection for clean water. It also provides a habitat for many animals. And of course, being a pollinator field, it provides food for our bees and also for the butterflies. So, and if you ask Brenda, she'd also say that it's just beautiful. And I guess that's a good enough reason. So today I'm going to show you some of the warm season grasses that are in this field and also many of the different flowers. We had a neighbor farmer come over, bring his big 30-foot wide no-till seed drill over to plant all of the wildflowers and the grasses. This was in June of 2021, so this now being September 2023, we've had 3 full summer growing seasons.
And boy, has it filled in nicely.
Yeah, but boy, I was worried the first year. I had to cut it several times. These warm season grasses are very difficult to take, and all the weeds that grow up around them prevent them from growing. So we cut it several times to give the grasses a chance to grow. Fortunately, they did. So why do we have grasses in our pollinator field? Many good reasons. These are warm season grasses that help with erosion control, both on the surface erosion, and also these warm season grasses put roots down 3, 5, and even 8 feet deep, which helps bring some of the nutrients up. They also act to provide habitat, not only in the summertime when they're 6 and 7 feet tall, but they persist all through winter and provide a good cover and habitat for small animals and even birds. These are beautiful grasses here. The front here is the little blue stem. And in the summertime you can tell what kind they are because they have blue stems. And then in the fall they begin to turn color like this with beautiful dark reds and tans. The beautiful grass. They're the shortest. The next layer up we have, these are switchgrasses here. They have the very wispy tops. And we also have a little bit of the Indian grass heads, and I'll show you some better examples of that later. But these are just 3 of the 5 different native grasses, warm season grasses that we have in our pollinator field. Here's a good example of some Indian grass. They're all bunch grasses. They grow tight together as a group, and they are well over 6 feet tall. They can get as high as 8 feet. And if we pull this down to look at the seed heads, you can see the beautiful color of seeds and more of a plume on them. So beautiful grasses. I love these grasses. Staying with the blue stem theme, we had the small blue stem, and now this is the big blue stem. You can see it still has a light green and a bluer stem. It hasn't changed yet. And the seed head looks different. In fact, some of them are almost called like a turkey foot. Beautiful grass. This one's only about 5 feet, but when it matures in a couple more years, you can see it's a bunch that grows in as a bunch grass. But they could be 6 or 7 feet tall. Beautiful native grass. Okay, this is the beginning of fall, and we have 3 different types of fall sunflowers that bloom through the year. to give us good coverage for our pollinators. And the fall here is the most spectacular one, variety of fall sunflower. This is a Maximilian, and it is by far the tallest. You can see they're 6 to 8 feet tall, and they are just covered with these beautiful flowers, yellow petals. It seems that 80 to 90% of our flowers in our pollinator field are yellow. All the false sunflowers, and then the black-eyed Susan, the brown-eyed Susan, and a couple other varieties. Yellow seems to be the native theme of this pollinator field. And here's one of the plants that's usually one of the first ones to show in the spring, but here it is autumn and they're still here. They're very persistent. This is a partridge pea. Again, it's also yellow with the flowers, and here we also have a seed pod. So these, yeah, they're very persistent, and even though the switchgrasses and all the other false sunflowers outgrow them and take them over later in the season, these guys are going to be around again next spring. You can see beautiful greenery and plants. I love the leaves on these. Okay, we have with a background of switchgrasses and little blue stem on the edge of the meadow here, we have a remnant black-eyed Susan. And again, these primarily bloom earlier in the summer, but this little guy's holding on. You can see with the black in the center. We also have brown-eyed. I don't know, I might be partial to brown-eyed, since Brenda's a brown-eyed. And breaking the theme of the yellow, we have this beautiful purple aster. And boy, the bees love this. I had to fight them off in order to get a picture here. Look at that. They are gorgeous. Okay, here's another beautiful flower in our pollinator field. And this is the goldenrod. It is beautiful, and it depends on the pollinators, the bees and the butterflies, to move the pollen from plant to plant in order to survive. Now, some of you are thinking, uh-oh, this is the stuff that makes me sneeze in the fall. No, no. What you're really confusing it with is ragweed. And ragweed floats on the wind, and that's how it pollinates plant to plant. And that's the stuff that gives you the watery eyes and the sneeze. So we planted this as a part of our pollinator field because it's beautiful and it's native. Oh, look at that beautiful monarch there. Oh, he's doing his job. And here's another essential plant that's in our pollinator field. Some folks think of these as weeds too, but this is a common milkweed. This is actually the only plant that the monarch butterfly will eat, and in fact they actually lay their eggs. You can see them standing on the end, and they reach underneath and they'll lay their eggs underneath the leaves. So here it is, fall. They have these pods, beautiful, silky, you can see, and each silk has a seed on the end, and then it just blows in the wind. Takes the seeds with it. We need a lot more of these everywhere.
Now there's a couple flowers that are not blooming right now. This is actually showy tick seed, and it is one of the first things to bloom in the spring, and it is so pretty, and the bees just absolutely love it. But first thing in the spring, you get this nice low covering of yellow all across the fields. And then there's also purple coneflowers, which bloom, and not only are they beautiful when they're blooming, and the bees love them, and it adds some purple to the pollinator field, but the seeds are also helpful because then a lot of birds, especially finches, love to eat purple coneflower seeds. So the seeds are even purposed, you know?
We know that the deer enjoy the pollinator fields as well. You can see their areas were matted down, and we know that the fawns love laying in the tall grass. Now, most folks are used to meadows where the grasses are only 2 or 3 feet tall, and they're surprised when our meadow is 6 to 8 feet tall. Well, it's because of the warm season grasses, and these are native grasses, so while it's different, it is native. So thank you for joining us on a visit of our pollinator fields today. Bye-bye.